This podcast contains adult language, descriptions of violence, sexual references, and other possibly offensive themes. Listener discretion is advised.
Previously on Back to the Story.
I failed you. And I'm sorry.
I think I'm surrounded by good things.
I just haven't been home in a long time.
You notice the citizenry, these mostly farmers now, are kind of eyeing you as they see Ball and the rest of you kind of marching towards the city. A few of the city guard are kind of heading in your direction. Looks like there's 4 of them.
It's yours, you can have it.
Yeah,
okay,
it's all yours.
You guys doing your dungeons and accounting over the couple of days before you reach the Withered Woods and the edge of Briarbridge. You're passing through these sort of farmlands of these briar bushes with all these flowers. And you see in the distance, this looks like 4 guards. Ezekiel, you recognize them. Not them individually, but they are Briar Guard, the official town guard of the city. They are underneath, technically, the Green Knights, though they're largely separate. Sometimes people will transfer over if they prove themselves enough, but it happens fairly rarely. You can see, as they're approaching, they have their shields with the 4 flowers painted on there. 1 red, yellow, blue, and 1 green for the knights. As they're approaching, they slow down, seeing you in the distance.
I kind of wave back, motion to the others to stop, and then pull Amson forward to go approach these guards.
Ah, yes.
You see one of the Briar Guards at the front kind of tap one of the other ones. Go get the errand. And this younger guard, one of the 4, runs off.
Has Ezekiel minimized himself?
Yeah,
so.
I'm already squirrel farm.
Okay, so since Ball's kind of been through this rodeo before, if he sees people giving him the weird eye, he's going to take the squirrel out and just kind of very obviously be petting his squirrel and looking as harmless as possible.
Okay. You do so as you see the guards kind of spread out a little bit as Amson is walking forward. You can see 2 columns of trees that have been kind of structured next to the trees. They have a banner going across. You see the 4 flowers above as well, the symbol of Briarbridge, with the bridge kind of bridging between them.
I wave to the guards.
Greetings,
Hello.
soldiers.
Okay.
Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Amson Blossom. These are my traveling companions. And we would like to humbly request that we find safety within Briarbridge's walls as we sup for the evening.
Okay. What is,
We understand that some members of our group are a little bit unusual.
Uh-huh.
But
Yeah.
we want to assure you that we mean no harm to anyone here. We just intend to probably stay the evening, meet with a friend who came ahead, and then pass through on our way to Nymanet.
You see the one that's kind of been speaking up looks to the others. Go ahead and roll a persuasion check.
Is that with advantage?
Which of us is rolling?
One of you rolls with advantage because of the other and Ball, who's not threateningly holding a weapon.
I'll roll persuasion. Mostly because I have expertise in it. Well, those are some pretty awesome rolls. So that is a total of 24.
Yeah, we can probably, I think I'm going to need to talk to my boss about this one. But yeah, y'all go ahead and we'll head towards the city.
Thank you, kind soldiers.
Yeah, and he kind of points to the other 2 to kind of flank y'all a little bit. Weapons undrawn. They're nervous. They've taken their shields out. Their hands are on the hilts, but they haven't drawn them yet.
If they are walking around us, then I will just quickly introduce each member of the group who is not currently a squirrel.
Okay. They kind of politely nod and say hey, as you pass so that they can kind of flank behind, triangulating you. Walking towards the city, you're passing by the hedges of blooms. You can see vibrant banners along the way. Every so often, Every 30 feet or so, you see a very colorful banner. And you start to see in the distance old stone buildings of kind of light grayish stone, some red brick in the distance. But the forest doesn't stop. It's almost integrated into the city itself. There are numerous trees growing inside. So the city seems to be split. There's a river that goes down the middle with half the city on one side and half the city on the other. There are a number of bridges spanning this river. One is the largest and is fairly central, but there are a number of other bridges as well. By the time you get towards the outer walls, there looks to be a tower of some sort. So they're sort of built into that outer gate, where you see a few other briar guards. And you hear as you see a horse approaching. You see a woman, blonde hair. You see flowers have been kind of tied into her hair. It's been strung back. You can see a helmet dangling tied to her side, and she's in green plate. As she gets closer, you can see it has texture. It's not chitin, but it's similar. It's bark, maybe, dyed green. You see she has a long blade on her side. She slows down. Ezekiel, you recognize her.
This is where we find out Ezekiel's reaction. Does he shit his pants and shit on my head? Yeah.
Just kind of, Ball may feel on his head as Ezekiel has perched himself up there. Just the little squirrel talons dig in a little bit, not causing harm, just like clear clench.
Is it clear to Ball that it's just like this happens as soon as she appears? Like, can I make that connection, or does this just seem like a squirrel being a squirrel?
Make a insight check, maybe? At disadvantage?
Or is it animal handling?
Roll animal handling, because that never gets rolled. Yeah, do that instead. I like that better.
That's a 5.
I mean, squirrels. Right? As she approaches and kind of slows down, you see one of the briar guards go, I haven't. And kind of nods to her, bows slightly. She kind of nods her head at yours. Hey there. I hear you're trying to enter the city here. Just want to make sure everything's on the up and up.
That's correct.
All right. And your friend here, big one?
Yes, his
and
name
this is Ball.
Ball, yes.
Ball. Nice to meet you, Ball. Can you understand me?
Yes, I can understand you. Don't worry, I'm a gentle giant.
Good
and
to hear.
I scratch the squirrel on top of me.
Well, I apologize for our rather tense introductions, but I just don't see people like you too much. But you are welcome. Just stay slow. Don't draw those weapons of yours, just to keep everybody calm, and we'll have a good time.
Thank you.
Of course. And if you need anything, please ask me. My name is Knight Errant Maggie West. Or ask any of the Briar Guard here. They'll point you in the right direction. Welcome to Briarbridge.
Your hospitality is greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Y'all just passing through, and she kind of turns and kind of gestures for you to kind of walk with her. She kind of slows her horse down. Y'all just passing through, or looking for something in particular? You here for the festival, or?
Mostly passing through. We are hoping to meet a friend here who went ahead.
Right.
What is this festival you mentioned?
It's the Reaping. It's an agricultural festival. They're starting to set up the tables there. And she kind of points, and you can see a few tables are starting to be put together on the bridges.
From that, do we know what day or what month it is?
Yeah, it's the harvesting.
Oh, what day? Can I ask her? We've been on the road for a while. What day precisely is it of the harvesting?
Yeah, it's... What day is it? What day is it? Yeah, it's the 17th.
We missed Vesper's birthday, too.
What month is it? We've been on the road for a while.
Well, the Reaping, it's in the harvesting. The Reaping's the festival. Are y'all not from here? And that's all right. It's just an agricultural festival, really. But it is fun, wine and music, stuff like that.
We're from over in Severwind.
Okay. That's,
on our way to Nymanet.
Yeah, we get a few to pass through heading up there. It's a long trek. I wish you well on it.
Thank you.
Well, I do have business to attend to. We'll see, and she kind of points off in that direction. That's the trader's alley. You'll find markets, shops, stuff like that. Over there's the labor district. You'll find mostly industrial, but there's a few pubs and taverns there. On the hill there's the Temple Terrace, and a few manors as well. They don't like people nosing around too much, but have a good look. It's pretty stuff. Enjoy your stay. And she turns her horse and kind of begins to trot off, heading forward north and then crossing towards the west side of the city.
Holy fuck. That's more than a month or two.
That would be the better part of a year.
Do you think that we can still find Meli and Orizana here?
I don't know.
Should we ask her? Maybe she has seen them.
I think there's no harm in trying to find them.
Yeah.
Someone asking her something, or
yeah, was that kind of
to ride off?
Was that you guys saying that we should ask? Because if so, then Ball will kind of say, "Excuse me, Maggie."
Yes.
As we said, we are hoping to meet a couple of friends here. Do you perhaps recognize them or know who we are speaking of? And then as Ball says that, he looks around, he's like, I actually don't know how to show him what they look like.
Amson will, if I may, conjure, using minor illusion, a likeness of Meli.
Okay. It's not super powerful, but it's enough to get the basics: red hair, human, girl, height, basic clothing features. She kind of begins to squint. Did this one have a name you were looking for?
Meli Forstke.
Was there another one?
Yes, there was a wood elf woman, maybe riding a horse, or they might have. There was a horse with them.
I'll conjure a likeness of Orizana as well.
Well, I heard rumors, and I met the girl once. Not the other one, but I knew she was here. She's still working here, as far as I can tell. The other one, though, I'm not sure where she is. I haven't seen her in a while.
Which one is working here?
The elf. Now, I heard rumors. I wouldn't have to know an Ezekiel de Barbarat.
No, I only know this fluffy squirrel.
And the rest of us, Ball. No, I don't believe so.
She, the redhead came in here. Didn't know anybody it seemed, but was asking around, mentioned the name. That's how the elf got her job here. Just wondering. I said you're friends of hers.
Aye, we were supposed to meet them here.
And you don't know an Ezekiel?
Paul shakes his head.
Doesn't seem quite familiar. A friend of hers, perhaps.
Need some deception checks.
Sure.
Ball and Amson, since you're going to face forwards.
Just a straight roll from me?
Yeah. From Ball and Ezekiel and Amson.
I'm going to use luck.
So 13 for Ball. Ball wants to know, when he's doing this, he wants to kind of judge her reaction and see if he believes that he has convinced, tricked her. Or, he believes that he's faked it well enough. Assuming she doesn't give any obvious reaction.
Yeah, we'll see what she says and go from there. Amson?
Ball rolled better than I did. I rolled a 12.
All right.
I'm the new face.
Would y'all mind so much following me? A few questions, and, well, there might be some others that would like to ask a few more questions as well.
Just look over to the rest of everybody else.
I think that's fair.
All right. Good.
And then with that, can Ball... Ball's suspicion here is that she doesn't buy it. Can Ball try to confirm that?
I'll say, yeah, that's a pretty good assumption.
Okay.
She's leading you off somewhere. She hasn't dropped it. She turns her horse, begins heading north.
Are we heading towards the manor?
As you continue and following her horse, there's still the guards that are hanging behind. They've kind of dropped back a bit now. The citizenry in their very bright dyed clothing are all looking over, but after staring for a bit, most of them pass on. A few are kind of watching. A few children especially are kind of watching the giant from a distance. This time, she doesn't turn as she was proceeding to before, to the left, to the west side of the city. She heads east, towards the eastern side, towards High Hill, where Ezekiel, as she turns down, begins to go up the hill. That is where a number of manors are held, including one you're very familiar with.
Yep. Okay.
Does Ball get any reaction from Fluffy?
Fluffy has probably come down off of your head and is kind of probably on the ground beside you guys, darting around. You maybe watch him consider fleeing a couple times.
I'm going to pick him up.
He might almost bite you.
Eventually she kind of crests the hill, and you notice a kind of a somewhat halfway separated part of the town. There's sort of a raised hill, and upon it you crest into this area where there are a number of larger houses. Most of either old stone, or there's some that are in new-ish but still pretty old red bricks. And she makes a beeline towards one of them in particular. And Ezekiel, it is your old home. You see it. It looks similar to the day you left it. She rides up, hops off her horse, ties it off at a post there. She begins to go towards the door, but kind of gestures to one of the briar guards. Would you mind? She kind of whispers to them before sending the briar guard off, who kind of trots off at a slow jog. Thank you all for coming and following me. This is Foxtail Manor. This is the home of the Barbarax. And they had a son, Ezekiel. I used to train with him. And she knocks upon the door. A few moments later, the door is open. You see a older gentleman, well dressed in fairly bright colors, facial hair but trimmed, tall, probably 6'5"-ish, as he kind of towers down. Maggie, what do I have the... I'm sorry. Knight errant, what do I owe the pleasure? And then he kind of looks and sees beyond over her shoulders. There's a lot of you. Well, Mr. Barbarack, I believe these individuals might have some answers you've been looking for. Would you mind inviting them inside? He kind of nods and looks to the rest of you. Well, why don't y'all come on in and have a seat? He gestures for you guys to come in. Do you do so?
Of course I do. I am a friendly giant.
As Ball gets towards the door and the rest of you kind of usher in, he kind of turns around. Why don't we make our way to the courtyard? As the ceilings are high, but only a few inches higher than Ball's head, who's kind of having to duck a little bit. Y'all move through the room. You can notice inside a manor, nice, not, you're guessing nobility of some sort, but probably not high nobility. Maybe middle to wealthy-ish merchant of some sort, but not luxurious. So there's rugs on the floor that are patterned and dyed and beautiful, but they're not pure satin. But he lets you out the back door to where there's a patio area, a table, a few chairs. Please, have a seat. He gestures for you all to seat. If you do so, find spots. He kind of sits at the head of the table, with the knight-errant Maggie West to his left, as he takes his. Well, my name is Commissioner Xavier de Barbarac. The knight-errant's here so graciously tells me you have some answers for me to the questions I don't know. Is there something I can help you with, or... He kind of looks towards the knight-errant. He looks to you all. Yes, is there something you would like to say? Some answers or nearly anything?
So I'm sitting here holding on to Ezekiel, just kind of slowly petting him, and then I just kind of poke at his side a little bit, as subtly as I can.
Ezekiel will hop off the lap of Ellory, walk over away from the table, briefly consider running again, and will shift back into a person.
Okay, so you shift back.
Paul looks shocked.
You see the knight and Xavier kind of shockingly kind of step and move, almost flinch, kind of standing up from their chairs. His chair is just knocked back, falls over in his rush to stand. Ezekiel?
Yeah, howdy.
What? You're here? What? 7 years, Ezekiel. As he kind of begins to take a few steps forward. You see Maggie kind of gritting her teeth a little bit. You see her fists are clenched.
Yes. Well, didn't quite feel right to come back.
Yeah, I suppose not. You run off your own track with the knights, and you run off with some convent in the woods. What was that about?
Finding my place.
You knew your place.
I knew yours. Now, Maggie, I imagine you have words for me. We can get to that. But you had mentioned you knew our friend, and she was working in town.
More than words, yes.
Well, would you mind telling my friends here the location of said friend, and then we can all sit down and have a nice chat?
I met her once. Here. She came asking for you. I haven't seen her. I saw her too, Meli. I offered that she could stay. She seemed to know you. And she decided to stay elsewhere. I don't know if she's still in the city or not.
How long ago was this?
7 years. So what, you here to stay? You gotta run off again? They won't let you back in. Not after what you did.
I have no interest in going back. I know that path is closed to me. And maybe one day I can return and explain to you the path I've chosen. But no worries.
In another decade? When?
Perhaps when you've had time to let all that shame and disappointment you've been festering on fade away.
I've had some time to think about it, Ezekiel. I kept asking myself why you didn't value tradition, honor, and this place of importance in our family, in our city. It didn't seem to matter to you, and I couldn't understand why, and I still don't, to be quite honest. But to not come to us and just explain it, just leave. No letter, no birds, no nothing.
Tell me, Father, what explanation could I have given you at the time that just before I take my vows, I'm gonna leave everything I knew behind?
Yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe I was not to be argued with. Still, though, surely after a few months you could have said something. Or a year, 2.
I found my place.
Yeah.
And a home there that I never felt here.
Wild folks smoking plants in the woods. A little more than that.
If that's what you want to think about us, then fine. But I am still carrying out my mission. Maybe not in the way that you or anyone else intended me to or tried to force me to.
Mission. Well, at least something. At least something's got your eye. The girl, I hadn't seen her. It's been a month since I saw her last. I don't know where she went. You know, when you come around, there'll be a place for you. Won't be within nights, but we'll find a place. When you finally realize what this place means, you'll find something.
I know what this place means, with all of its walls and its rules and its traditions. And I've found my place. I'm sorry to drudge up all these memories. I honestly hope to let you forget about me. I am sorry that I couldn't live up to your expectations. But I'm not...
Tell your mother that. You see, he's kind of grinding his teeth. I understand your problems with me, but tell your mother that.
Is she here?
She's at the market. And I said not for the festival.
Well, I have to go look for my friend. I will try and return in the evening to give a proper hello to Mother.
He kind of drops his hands, shrugs his shoulders, like, giving up. So be it. You can see Maggie, who's kind of clenching her teeth, and is just taking a step forward.
Everyone, I'll meet you outside.
Are you sure?
Quite sure. Thank you.
Yeah, see you in a bit.
There's a older woman, clearly a servant of some sort, that kind of guides you out. Back out again.
And as we're leaving, Ellory looks kind of angry.
Vesper looks like she wants to linger and say something to Ezekiel's father, but doesn't, because it's not really her place right now. And follows.
Okay. So you guys get walked out, leaving Ezekiel in the courtyard. The servant, she kind of comes back, closes the door, and kind of flees. So it's just your father and Maggie, the knight. She was not a knight when you were training with her. Y'all were taking your oaths together. She has been promoted.
I suppose congratulations are in order, Maggie.
You can't leave this place. Not like you did before. You need to go to the Rook. You need to go to the Saffron Gardens and face this. Surely you have that much honor left.
What is honor but pride? What good comes from that?
You know the oaths we were going to take, Ezekiel. You know it's more than that. I know you don't believe in it, but the rest of us do. We don't fight for ourselves, we fight for others.
And I'm still fighting. Maggie, you knew I didn't belong there. You trained with me for how long? And did I ever get it right? Just because of what I am didn't mean that that was the path I was supposed to take.
You could have.
I could have. But I didn't. And every day has been beautiful since.
You see her almost crack a smile. And she walks up quickly, and then throws her arms around you, embraces you in a hug. And she whispers in your ear, "You're lucky it was me."
Oh, I know. I'll go back.
She releases you awkwardly, readjusts her armor somewhat. I have business to attend to. Enjoy your stay in Briarbridge.
Oh, I'm sure it will be a lovely time. I'll return later. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
She nods and walks off, exits the courtyard.
After a suitable, awkward silence with my father, I will nod. I'll return later. I have some business.
As you nod and walk out, you come outside. You can see Maggie, the knight errant, has already got up on her horse and is kind of riding fairly swiftly out of there. You kind of catch the tail end of the horse as it goes down the hill. And you see the rest of your friends there gathered.
When he comes out, I walk up to him and very lightly shove him. Really, Ezekiel? You know, you told us that you left on less than wonderful terms, but 7 fucking years without your family knowing where you were?
They knew where I was. I didn't check in. You heard them. I was off in the woods, smoking and frolicking, as they put it. They had every chance to come see me as well, and see the life I had chosen. Don't offer them your pity.
Look, do you know what it's like to go for years and years without seeing somebody that you love? Because they decided to leave? Because they decided to just disappear?
I'm sorry, Ellory. That was insensitive of me. All I will say is that I disappeared after a long relationship with this family. I knew exactly how it would be received, and I don't know if I would have had the strength to leave twice. I kept away because I needed to.
Yeah, well, I know you need to make your choices and do what's right for you. I just can't wrap my head around the idea of... Never mind. I think we should go find your mother.
We can get to that. First, I will cast Locate Animals or Plants. And it says I can target a specific kind of beast. I don't know. I want to see if I can pick up Raz within 5 miles.
Okay, so you can... It looks like you could probably just look up the closest horse.
Yeah,
if I'm reading this
I don't
right.
think it's quite specific enough. So
yes, you could find horses, but not necessarily Raz.
Yeah, a kind of beast or plant, not specific.
But you would know where some stables are. You know, you could check that. You would know that much. Do you cast a spell?
No.
Okay. So you think about it and then kind of realize that there's a lot of horses in this town.
If Ellory walks away from Ezekiel, though, once she kind of has her thing with him, I'll just go up and I kind of give him just a quick hug.
Well, that is unexpected.
Sorry, I don't think I fully understood what you were telling us, all the details of your situation. It was just odd, not that it's about me, of course, but to see that your father didn't approve of the path you chose. When, I don't know, I'm not used to seeing that. Yeah.
Well, I thank you for that. I've had my time to let go of that past. I hoped that everyone else had too, and I see how selfish it is. But again, they knew where I was. And
it's not selfish. I'm just sorry that they couldn't understand.
One day they might. I'll probably have to do something spectacular for it, so...
Well,
we'll
you're
see.
on your way.
If I keep hanging around with you lot, maybe. Well...
Thank you, Ezekiel, for making your choices and finding us and for everything.
Thanks for having me. And you'll find your path. It's never easy, though. Well, who has a way to find Orizana?
What if you write her name in the sky?
Do you know how to write it in Elvish?
If you show me, I'm not quite sure how to pinpoint her.
I could probably try to ask around. I'm usually pretty good at that.
Didn't that friend of yours say that she was working somewhere in town?
I think that was just a ruse to get us to go to the manor. They didn't seem to know.
Are there a lot of wood elves around here?
Well, much of the nation has elven blood, so there's quite a mix. Anderson, if you want to ask around, perhaps see where she might be staying, she might stick out. It's not regular that they don't speak common, at least, so she might have made a few odd impressions. Ellory, will you come with me to the market and the festival grounds?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll come with you.
Okay, so who's going where? And who's doing what?
Amson will lead a group to the best place where he knows to get information, and that would be the nearest inn, tavern, and or watering hole.
I'll go with Amson.
Okay.
And he'll ask around if anyone has seen a wood elf woman who she probably might have learned some common, but when she got here, she didn't know any common at all. And describe how she looks.
Okay. So we have the investigating crew. Amson, since you're leading that up, give me either persuasion or investigation. Who else? I heard some people may go to the market. Is there what's going on?
I'm going to try and find my mom.
Okay.
And I guess I'm going with him.
Okay. And Ball, and we'll say Calvin goes with one of y'all. Ball, what do you do? Do you go with one of them, or?
Yeah, I think if Ezekiel wanted more people to go with him, he would have said so. So Ball will go with Amson.
Okay. We'll say Calvin goes with y'all too, just to kind of stick y'all all together. So Amson, give me that persuasion or investigation. Ezekiel, give me, if you're asking around, you can give me persuasion. Or you can give me perception if you're just straight up looking.
I don't want to talk to people. I'm going to look.
So just perception.
Quick question. Does anybody want to assist me?
Ball or Calvin does, because they're paladins and have a good charisma stat.
Has anyone seen a wood elf? They're like this small. This one doesn't speak common.
Ball, give me a persuasion check to actually aid him and not just scare people off.
Okay, I will do that for you.
And then we'll see if Amson gets the advantage.
Persuasion to persuade the DM.
Persuasion to persuade.
That's a 14.
Ball, it kind of scares people off, but he draws them in as well. They usually don't get too close, but they get close enough for Amson to gather enough people to go ahead and get an advantage on the roll.
That's what would have been a 15 is now a 26.
Okay. Persuasion?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. And so as you guys are kind of asking around, heading towards, getting directions and heading towards a tavern or inn of some sort, Ezekiel and Ellory head towards the market district. Crossing the bridges, you can see they're beginning to set up tables for the festival.
As we're heading there, I'm not quite fuming as much as I was, and I just kind of look at Ezekiel and say, listen, I know I'm not you, my family's not your family, my situation's not your situation. I guess I'm sorry for overreacting.
No, you had every right to react the way you did. It's difficult to see how selfish your own actions are until you are confronted with them. And perhaps I use several techniques to justify my departure that a note probably wouldn't have killed me.
Yeah, a note. A note would be nice. Well, we're gonna find your mom?
Yep.
Okay.
If she punches me, it's okay.
Okay.
Crossing the bridge, you can see the long tables are being placed out, starting to be put together. It looks like they're going to have food, drink, etc. This sort of outdoor eating and sharing of drink and food and music festival on the bridges themselves. So people are kind of crossing. It's a little crowded as you're crossing by. Ezekiel, do you have your hood up? Or are you...
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Give me a deception or a stealth check. I think this... Yeah, one of those.
Deception?
Yeah.
If I could.
I was leaning towards that anyway.
17.
Okay. So you're walking by. You're doing a fairly good job of wearing the hood in sunlight, no rain, but without looking too suspicious. You walk along, cross the bridge, heading over towards the market district. Crossing in there, you can see numerous shops, and you start to see a kind of a more open square. It's not incredibly big, but you see a lot of stalls. Each shop and stall has a very vibrantly colored banner with numerous stitched symbols and dyed symbols upon them. Looking around, Ezekiel, your height gives you a pretty good advantage as you kind of scan the crowds. Looking around, you do notice there's a few in your house colors. You see, looks like 2 servants, a larger half-orc, and a slender and smaller human that you recognize. You don't recognize the half-orc, but you know your mother typically has servants when she goes on these shopping expeditions. And you see across the crowd your mother. She's talking to a merchant currently.
I will make my way over in that direction and kind of position myself so that when she turns around, she will see me, like, just standing there, and I'll pull down my hood.
Okay, so you push through the heavy crowds, making your way across, setting yourself up. She finishes the exchange, turns around, and drops the basket of what she's holding, and things tumble out of it, produce. Ezekiel? And then she slams into you with a hug, and pushing you back about a foot. She kind of wraps her hands around you.
Hi, Mama.
She doesn't release for a second, but after a moment she does, and she's like, then she smacks you on the side of your shoulder. Now what the hell were you thinking?
Well, you know.
Your father, he's not going to be too thrilled about this. He will be thrilled, but you know how he is.
Oh, don't worry. Father and I have already seen each other.
You saw it? Well, that's good. You
went
okay.
About as well as you would expect.
He didn't do anything now, did he?
Well, I'm traveling with a giant these days, so I don't think he was going to risk it.
Okay, well, I mean, you know your dad. And she begins to reach down towards the basket, but like the half-orc kind of like gets down there with his burly self. Clearly the guy that's like carrying the crates and kind of helps her pick back up. Well, I'm glad to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I should have come back sooner.
We should have went out there, but it was disappointing. But she kind of looks around. You know how this town is.
Yeah, I'm sure people talked for ages.
They might start talking again as she kind of looks around now that you have your hood down.
Mama, I know I disappointed you, but what I chose and the things I can do and the way I can really be part of it all, nature, there was no other path.
I don't understand it exactly, but it's, you know, you left, and it's not just your father and me, but it means something to the people. I mean, you know what your grandmother did. I know it's a lot of pressure on you too, to force you down that road, but, you know, sometimes we have to make those sacrifices. And, you know, things didn't work out, you know, but that's why it's not just your father trying to live vicariously through you. You know, there's social pressures, and not in a small way. Your mother held off a lot of bad from getting to this town. Not just wolves, I mean, big stuff. Scaled things. You know what I'm talking about.
What do you mean? Is something happening?
No, but everybody's been a little on edge. People been different. Let's speak about this somewhere else. Not in the middle of the market. I'm glad to see you, and she kind of hugs you again.
I'll come back to the manor later tonight. We can talk.
Yeah. Don't leave without saying goodbye.
I won't.
I won't let him.
Mama, Ellory, Mama.
Pleasure.
Hi, nice to meet you.
She kind of shakes your hand in a very somewhat pompous way, but friendly enough. Before you walk off, at least take it. And she takes some apples out of her basket and begins to hand them to you. And stay at least long enough for the festival.
You gotta find my friend. We'll see.
And as you do that, pop over. Ball and Amson, you've asked around, have been pointed to a tavern in the labor quarter. You find a place called the Broken Goat Pub, which is pretty popular among laborers. Asking around, a few people have heard of some elves. You start saying elves that don't know common, and a few people think they've heard of someone there at the Broken Goat Pub. You go there, and a few others, you end up running into someone I've heard Orizana. Yeah, she works out in the Briar Patch.
Can you point us there?
Well, I mean, you probably saw it coming in. She's at Redwall Plantation. Yeah, I'll see you there.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah, of course. She usually stops around here or the bunkhouse. And he kind of tells you the rough directions. It's outside of town, large plantation, hard to miss it. Look for the big banners of red.
All right. Then let's go out there and try to find her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you guys start to exit the city. Walking out, there's still a good amount of crowd, mostly kids that are kind of following your group, especially with Ball. It's starting to die down, though. Enough people have seen you where it's not as big of a deal. Exit the city once more. You do notice there's maybe 2 briar guards that are tailing you. They're keeping a good distance, but they're tailing. Go out, searching around. You eventually find where it looks like there is rows and rows of these hedges with multicolored flowers, purple and greens and yellows, vibrant colors. You see a bunch of people that are picking the blooms off of the plants.
As we get there, Amson's going to take out his lute and start playing.
Okay. You start to do so, and some of the workers begin to kind of whistle along or clap along to the music.
And he'll start singing one of the songs that he knows in Elven.
Okay.
Bal, I know I haven't done this in years since we were kids, but can I get on your shoulders and maybe I can see her?
Yeah, Ball says, sure. And kind of crouches down, helps you out.
I will sit on Bal's shoulders and see if I can look out over the fields and find Orizana.
Okay, give me a perception check. At advantage. That is the most by-the-book advantage aid I've ever seen.
That's really good. That is a 22.
A 22. I love it when the aid comes before and not like, oh shit, I rolled 3. Yeah. Can someone... Yeah, so you climb on top of Ball, 10 foot up, and with your height a few feet higher, clearly above the field. You kind of look out as you're kind of walking along the rows. Music spreading through the field as people are whistling and kind of stomping along, pulling. In the distance, you see a woman who's kind of looking up. She has a straw hat that's kind of shading her. She kind of looks up. You see she's holding a bag that's where the blooms are going. And she just drops it and they fall over the floor. She's running straight to her jaw, seeing Ball lumber along. Sprinting up, you see Orizana, tan, the wood elf, dark eyes and hair. She kind of runs up.
I will scramble down and hug her.
She hugs you as well, and then subsequently hugs the rest of you in Ball's leg. And, hello, she says in common.
Hello.
I'll ask her in Elvish, how much common have you learned?
Very little. I know a few words. I can order a drink and a few other things.
Excellent. I don't even know where to begin. I apologize profusely for all of us for not being around.
The others?
The rest are in town.
Meli.
We haven't seen her. We haven't been able to find her.
She kind of taps herself in the bunkhouse. She left something for you. They know.
Okay. We'll get that.
She was heading, continuing on. She left a week ago, maybe.
Did she say specifically where she went?
The next city, I think it is,
Fellbridge?
Fellbridge? I think so. Near the pass.
Yeah, okay.
She You have to see that it is shiny ink.
Okay, we'll head there right away.
Follow. And she will lead you off and just leave her work where it is. You can notice, too, as she hugs you, her hands are stained colors from picking the plants and just working. And running off, she kind of leads you back towards the labor district. Ezekiel and Ellory, what are you guys doing?
I guess we should try to find the others.
Probably. Quick look around the market, see if I can identify, so we don't have to search tomorrow, like potion shop, adventuring gear, buy magical things in this place.
You do see those staples, as well as you see the smoke of a forge kind of a little bit out of the area.
Right,
but you
Calvin
see
about that.
Yeah. You see the basics here.
Yeah, I think we'll just try and find the others.
Yeah, and I'm kind of subtly trying to wipe tears away from my eyes.
Ezekiel, make an insight check.
17.
Okay. You notice a bit of the glisten off Ellery's eyes. You also notice a few people whispering here and there. Not the common dressed people. You notice a few merchants do it. You notice a few of the Briar Guard do it. And you notice a few people in fine dressed nobility of some sort. It's been a while, but you see they've noticed you and they're beginning to kind of whisper. Gossip is beginning to be spread.
Oh, other reasons I did not want to come back here. Let's go find someplace quiet and scummy.
Sounds perfect.
Okay. So, Ezekiel, you would probably have known of a kind of laborer's pub. Definitely a blue-collar place. But its drink is cheap and it's a little rowdy, if that's the kind of place you're looking for.
Yeah, and I will have told everybody that when I'm done, I'll meet them there, if they can. That way we can at least meet back up with each other.
Okay. So y'all go there, y'all sit down, you begin to have a drink and kind of wait on your friends. Amson and the others, Vesper, Calvin, led by Orizana, she leads you into the labor quarter and to a larger building. It's clean, but not incredibly fancy. You go in and you realize it's a bunkhouse of some sort. There are large, pretty open rooms with like bunk beds, like cheap laborers' quarters, basically. Maybe wait here. She runs in, comes out a few moments later. She's carrying a envelope. Opening it up, you see a letter from Meli describing that she waited in the way stop for a while and then decided to move on, leaving a note there to Briarbridge, where she waited there, found Ezekiel's parents, waited there, left a note here with Orizana, and has decided to continue the pilgrimage in hopes of maybe learning enough to contact you in other ways. Hopefully maybe they have some spells or something. She continues. She draws a rough map, not very good at it, but she draws a rough map. And you notice there's a small glisten to it. To be activated later, because I don't want to do that. But you guys read the basic note from Meli outside.
Yeah, she's moving on to the next city, so if we want to catch up with her, we should probably leave soon.
We have to get to the grove first, so let's go find Ezekiel right now, and maybe tomorrow we can go to the grove and then head on. I feel bad that we just got back with Orizana and now I have to say goodbye again.
I'll ask Orizana, do you want to continue working here, or do you want to go with us to Ezekiel's grove?
She kind of looks at her hands. Work is not bad, but I prefer to hunt. I do it in my spare time, but this suffices. It's a good place. I've met friends here. I can accompany you if you like.
It's up to you. Your life is yours.
When are you leaving?
I imagine soon. Ezekiel is awfully eager to meet with his circle again.
Today?
Probably not today.
Let me talk to my friends and come find me before you go.
Of course. Will you be here at the bunkhouse?
I'll be at this broken goat.
Okay.
Tonight.
Yeah, we'll meet with you tonight.
But let me get back the flowers before someone takes them. We are paid by weight. She gives you all one last hug before scurrying off back towards the plantation.
Months. It's been so many months.
We'll adapt. We'll make things right. And it's not like we had much control over it anyways.
No, it's just weird to think about what we missed both of our birthdays. Do we measure our years by how many we've lived or how much time has passed? Here, I don't.
Well, if you would like, as soon as we get a little bit of breathing room, we can celebrate both.
Okay. Let's go find Ellory and Ezekiel.
Sounds good.
Okay. So, leaving the Stainfinger bunkhouse, you head and find the pub that Orizana and Ezekiel told you about, the Broken Goat pub, where you find this place. It's decently crowded for this time of day. You'd expect it to be pretty rowdy at night. You see there's a vibrant banner outside painted with a symbology of a goat who is drinking from a bottle of liquor. Inside, you find Ezekiel and Ellory.
We found Orizana.
Hey. Oh, good.
She's
How is she?
She's fine. She's been working here. She's been earning her stay and everything. She seems to be in good health, and she would like to meet us at the Broken Goat tonight.
That's where we are, right? Is it? Yeah, that's where we are.
And Meli?
Went ahead to
Fellbridge.
Bridge about a week ago. We can catch up to her.
Okay. I might have a way of getting a message to her, actually. Remember that paper that I bought from Allie?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had a use for it yet. This might be worth it.
Sounds absolutely worth it.
To her or to home? Ezekiel will say, not looking. For the record, there is a drink ordered in front of him. He has not touched it as of yet. He's just kind of staring at it.
Alcoholic?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a good question. I meant to her, but when we get back to her, she can send messages home.
Yeah, definitely want to do that.
Though, that does remind me of a couple of things. I've been thinking part of the reason I bought that paper was maybe it would be a way to send a message to my mother. But she wouldn't be able to answer it, I don't think. So I don't know if it would actually be any good.
I think send-in would be better for that. She can answer if she's able.
Yeah, but doesn't it have to be to somebody you know?
Has Meli never met Kel?
No. I think you might be the only one who's ever seen her.
And I can't do that right now. As soon as I can, though, Ellory, I will.
Thanks.
Maybe we should deal with that soon, too.
Might be a good idea, Vesper. As you can see, running away from your problems does not work out very well.
Well, got some time before Orizana's off work. Do we want to find a quiet spot and try?
What does it require?
Ezekiel?
I have it prepared, and I've been grinding silver, so I should be good. Plus, is there any shrine to Ain in Briarbridge?
Yes, there's a temple that is devoted to 9 deities. And as less of a temple, it's more of a terrace. It's like an outdoor almost a botanical garden, but it's devoted to 9 separate deities. One of them is Aang.
Want to go to hallowed ground?
I suppose. She'll listen wherever we are. But, yeah.
Well, I guess it's, do you want to do this under the auspices of potentially another priest? Or do you want to do this with just your family here?
Just my family, I think.
Well, we'll say I know a place, quiet, in a park. It'll be nice.
Okay.
And where are you leading them?
To whatever quiet place I used to come in the city, or just outside.
Okay, so not to the temple, but just to a quiet, secluded wooded area?
Yeah, not to the temple.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind checking out the temple area before we leave town.
Yeah, Calvin will probably be interested as well. There's more Valisol there. In fact, I'll talk to Calvin later.
Is there Mary by any chance?
Probably. I wasn't paying that much attention when I went.
Fair.
And I was devoted, as you could probably imagine.
Okay. So, Ezekiel, while there are a lot of trees in the city, it's fairly concentrated. So it'd be like an alley between a building with a tree. If you're in the city, it's probably the most secluded. There are some spots that are a little better, or outside would be easier.
Outside, yeah.
Okay. And you know that the north of town is a little quieter. There's less plantations of these briar bushes.
Yeah, just anywhere where we're not immediately within, hearing distance of some field workers either would be great.
Yeah. So you head out of the city towards the north, kind of following the river before exiting out one of the gates. Along the way, Ball, a younger man that's kind of that's carrying a crate, looks like a worker of some sort, runs into you and kind of looks up at you and drops the crate and grabs your leg. And with black eyes, you hear him say, "When you see God's rest surrounded by armies, then know that his desolation has come near." And he lets go and kind of looks around confused, picks up the crate, sorry, and walks off.
Ball just kind of freezes and is kind of doing that thing where he looks at what just happened and is looking at that guy and can't really make sense of it. And maybe before he gets out of reach, he'll quickly just kind of divine sense.
Yeah, divine sensing, you don't sense anything besides a faint something from Ezekiel and Vesper.
And did we all hear that, or just Ball?
You heard that. He wasn't whispering.
Okay. What the fuck was that?
I have no idea. Did the black eyes, did they look like Ball's eyes when he had the sword?
No. Ball's eyes when he had the sword were dark, but they're looking into space. There are little flakes of light. This guy's, he ran into him, his eyes turned black, he said it, and then his eyes went normal again, and then he walked off. They were just pitch black.
Let's keep going. Maybe prayer's the right thing right now.
Yeah. Amson, did you write that down?
No, but Amson's memory is pretty damn good.
Great. I'll continue leading to the forest.
Klaus, could you write that down?
Yeah.
Continuing, exiting the city a little shaken up. You guys exit the city and kind of get into the woods a bit, into these forever autumn woods, finding a fairly secluded place with the walls a good distance, maybe a couple 100 feet away, where it's a little quieter. And the first noises you hear are the winds through the leaves and little critters walking here and there, and not the city itself.
Well, good a spot as any. It takes a while to prepare the ritual. You should pray.
So I'm going to find a spot and kneel. I'm going to take out the griffin feathers and lay them out. And my old holy symbol and lay that with them. And then I will kneel down. And
before she starts praying, Ball will sit or kneel beside her.
As will Amson.
And I'll kind of stand back, but I'm going to be saying a little prayer of my own. along the lines of, "Hey, Voltimeri, I don't know how much influence you might have over this sort of thing, but if you could put in a good word for my friend with Aine, that would be swell."
Out of character, I think it might be interesting to see how well this goes if you want to do it sort of a ritual thing where 3 people can kind of give some words or advice or something, and Vesper can, I would say Vesper needs to do it, and then Ezekiel will make, because Ezekiel is performing the ceremony, would make kind of that final roll, just kind of to see if it goes off here.
Yes. Since this is a paladin ceremony, can I anticipate charisma-based challenge for that? This is much less dancey and windness than Ezekiel's usual magic. It's a lot more chanting and throwing powdered silver in the air.
I'll go last if anyone else has something they want to offer up.
I'm assuming here is the 3 of us, and then
Yeah.
Vesper. Is that how, basically we're all going to get a little something here? Or is there one of us that isn't participating?
We'll say whoever wants to.
I got something. Ball, do you have something?
You can go first, it's alright.
Okay. Amson will do what he does best, and he'll sing. And he'll sing, Hey, Aine, hear her prayer. In her need, you have always been there. Yep.
Okay. Make either performance, persuasion. Yeah, performance or persuasion on those 2.
Oh, they're the same numbers, so that's pretty good. That's a 23.
Okay. So Ezekiel is kind of chanting and throwing the powdered silver into the air, glistening in the light. The music begins to fill the space and almost seems to lift that silver and keep it in the air for just a bit longer as it sparkles and shines. Does anyone else would like to contribute to this, or should Vesper make her plea?
Ellory, did you have something? And if so, do you want to go before me?
I think besides her little prayer to Voltimeri, Ellory's mostly hanging back, more thinking that things will probably go better if she isn't too involved.
Okay, so Ellory kind of steps to the side, praying silently. I think Calvin does the same. He kind of kneels in a paladin sense, draws a spear, and kind of heads down, praying as well.
So while Ball is beside Vesper and starts to say his prayer, he's going to reach into his pocket and pull out the makeshift griffin feather necklace that he had made previously. It's the one that's made of griffin feathers that had a griffin claw as a pendant. And then while he's kind of holding that, kind of like a rosary, he's going to say, Hey, Aine, please give Vesper the opportunity, as you have given me, to redeem herself and regain your guidance. And then he's going to kind of, I guess he'll repeat that a few times as he kind of goes through the necklace, kind of like a rosary. And once he gets to the end of it, and just like holding that claw, kind of, he'll stand up and put the necklace around Vesper, and just kind of like rest his hand on Vesper, and maybe just kind of like lets it linger there for a bit, and then just steps away.
And as you do that, make either a charisma check or a religion check.
A natural one. So maybe to kind of explain that, I'll say that while Ball was going through the rosaries, a few times, like it got interrupted with the image of that man that had grabbed onto his leg. So as he was trying to recite his prayer, he kept having the image of this man with the blackened eyes talking about desolation coming near, and kind of broke his concentration.
And as those memories press into your mind, distracting you for the moment, they feel, you don't just remember the words and the man's face, but you almost see images flash before you. the great army, darkness, light dying out. They kind of fade and distract you long enough. You manage to get the necklace around her as you step back. Does anyone else want to make a contribution or I think this might be actually Vesper's time to plead and make her case and pray like she's never prayed before.
I don't know if I can do this. Can I maintain and enhance ability while I am doing the rest of this ritual?
Are they both concentration?
The ritual's not, but it has an hour casting time. So if I can concentrate on a spell while I'm doing it, but I don't want to risk it if it's like I have to focus on casting a spell for an hour. I don't know if I can concentrate during that.
I kind of like that you're able to do it. I'll say you'll make a concentration check, but it's a low DC, lower than normal.
Okay.
But there is some risk to it.
But I will grant her Owl's wisdom before she makes her prayer.
So that's wisdom. It is.
Yes.
Go ahead and give me a concentration check.
All right, we'll see if I can maintain it. Constitution saving throw. Natural 1, so no. Nope, it goes away.
Okay. Yeah, so Ezekiel, you try to reach out, but maintaining both is just too much. And you find, too, those words strangely linger in your mind, as if they have more weight to them than the timber put behind by some young man. But you continue the ceremony, the silver, you throw into the air, you beat, you paint, you draw the runes and the glyphs in the circle as it comes down to Vesper praying.
You know, years ago I prayed to you once because I was lost. And I wasn't spiritually lost. I knew my place in the world, but I didn't know which direction to travel. And now I find myself in rather the opposite predicament. I know exactly which direction my feet are headed, but spiritually I've stumbled and fell. I acted out of fear, irrational and quick, and it was wrong. I didn't know what I was doing, and I should have been more patient. I should have seen good in the stranger I met, not immediately assumed there was only darkness there. My whole life has been devoted to you, to your teachings, to try and embody that and bring that light into the world. And I'm sorry that I failed you, and that I used your glory and your power to snuff out a light that should not have dimmed so soon. I need your grace to go on. I need it for my friends, for my family, these people that I love, who have always been the answers to my prayers. When I was a little girl and I prayed to you that people would stop staring at me in the street and that I didn't feel so alone. Bal and Amson came to live in Embershore. And I wasn't alone, and Amson didn't stare at me, and when we were in the caves, and I prayed to you and I screamed until my throat was raw, until I was silenced by the blade of an axe. I prayed for a redemption, and it was Ellory who was okay, who fought and saved us from that dark place. They have always been the answer. And I humbly ask that you'd let me use your grace to protect them, to help them, to guide us in the right direction now. I will not let my pride and my fear blind me again, I promise. But I need you, and so do they. And I will do anything and everything within my power to be worthy of you. I swear it.
Give me a wisdom check.
So scary. That would be not natural, but a 20.
Okay. As your prayer finishes, the necklace around your neck falls to the ground. You see the two feathers of white ignite in a soft glow of white gold. The necklace, the griffin feathers upon it, another ignites, and another, and another, and another, until there's 6 griffin feather wings. Those attached to the necklace slowly drift up into the air. almost locking into place, symbolically stretching out in 6 different directions. The light in this space grows brighter, nearly blinding from the feathers themselves, white and gold. You have to shield your eyes away from the light. This is too bright to see, and yet you begin to see the outline, the silhouette of a figure. You see the griffin feathers expand into wings, 6 wings, that slowly, just gently, as if carried by a soft breeze, as you see a figure glowing in white, angelic and pure, an angel, haloed in bright gold. Long hair stretching out towards the heavens, floating there. She drifts, flies slowly but surely towards you as you kneel, praying. She takes her hands delicate and lifts your chin up to meet her gaze, and you see through her eyes like pearls into the heavens beyond, into the light and life of redemption, beyond yourself and every mortal beyond this world, into the plane of Celestia. You feel the burden of sin leave. You all see is Vesper, now glowing in that same light that's been transferred, begins to float and drift, as you both are kind of floating above in this ceremonial space, the silver light scattered and flying around. You hear the voice of a seraphim. It echoes and reverberates in your ears, as if you're hearing the chords not just of sound, but of a voice internally, a connection to the soul, to your essence, as this creature speaks. I am Seraphim Diether, champion Vein. I have heard your prayers, your redemption you seek. My wings, they will carry you, but thine's burden is your own. Take these wings to Nymanet, carry them home. And as she speaks those last words, she begins to drift back. This angel with 6 wings that burst into radiant flames of white and gold. The light blinds you all momentarily. And as the light fades once more, you see on the ground, in the same pattern, the circular pattern, the 6 wings have been reduced to the 6 white griffin feathers, still glowing softly in that circle. You all look and you see Vesper, though most of the light has retracted, there is still a slight glow of a halo around her head. And as you all look to each other, words beginning to form in your minds and hearts, that's where we're going to leave off. Tonight's session will come back in months to come, I guess. I don't know. At some point down the road.
That's rough. I can't believe that didn't work out for you.
I know, right? God.
You know what?
She broke your art project, and
Yeah, that fucking bitch.
Hey, listen, those griffin feathers have ascended. They're as high as they'll ever be.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Back to the Story. For notifications when an episode goes live, you can find us on Stitcher, Google Play, Player FM, or TuneIn. Download the app and subscribe or favorite us there. If you'd like to contact us, you can tweet us at back2_the_story. If you can't fit it into 280 characters, you can email us at thebonfirefables@gmail.com. And if you'd like further information about the campaign, the player characters, NPCs, or behind-the-scenes sneak peeks, follow us on either Twitter or on our Tumblr website. Lastly, if you'd like to support the show, feel free to buy us a coffee at ko-fi.com/backtothestory.